Hello there. Today's video, entitled Parents. Entitled egg donor messages me through social media after not contact for 9 months. Few nights ago I was contacted by egg donor my mother. I cannot call her that because a mother wouldn't do what she did to me growing up. I am currently in therapy trying to deal with my feelings and letting go of everything that has happened to me because of her. The moment I saw her message I froze. I had this sinking feeling in my chest, but also I couldn't breathe. Everything I worked so hard for to put her out of my mind came running back. The reason I cut her out was because of how toxic and a narcissist she is. All her insecurities were pushed on me. Everything that was wrong in her life was my fault, so to break free I cut her off. This is what she said to me. It might not make sense because it was translated to English, but hopefully you get the gist of what she is saying. Egg donor, number 1, I know that I was not the mother you wanted, but there is a no book that they sell it, and with time you will understand what a mother is like. Is always there for everything. I always wonder what I did wrong, and the answer ends in I love you with the soul, and in the end it matters. I want you to always be for life, although many times they are borrowed. Excuse me for not being the mom what you wanted, but sometimes you don't play what God didn't give. Just remember what here and wherever I carry you in my heart forever. 2, I understand if you don't want to keep contact with me, but with your father do it. He's already old and I think he needs you. I ask you to put the good times with his dad was always good. 3, remember that I love you very much. And no matter what happens, it will always be your house. 4, don't answer me. 5, I don't want any insults. She said that because she saw me riding her back, and I said this. Me, I don't care what you feel. You have never apologized once for how you treated me, how you insulted me or anything. You were never a mother. You stopped being a mother the day you left me when I was 14. You are selfish, narcissistic, hypocrite. Your punishment is knowing you will never be in my life or my children's life ever again. All your actions as an adult were clear. You are the most selfish person I have ever met, and despite how cruel and evil you were, I am better than you because I never want to be anything like you. In this whole message you never once said I'm sorry because you are so selfish. You only think about you and what you want. You will never hear from me. My father will never hear from me. No one will. The day you kicked me out and spat on my face is the day I died for all of you. I blocked her and I thought that was the end. That was the first message I ever said. Those 9 months I've been no contact. It broke me in a way, but whatever. An hour later she found another one of my social media, a new one I created that no way she could have found me, but she said this. Egg donor, sorry for everything. I know that sometimes words hurt more than words blows, and I understood that too late, but don't forget that we love you with the heart. That's the most fakest apology ever. She couldn't even say what she's sorry for. She only said sorry because I said it. I blocked her and deactivate my social media for a while. Anytime my phone vibrates I have the sinking feeling it's her. I'm sorry for my whatever this is. I just needed to share it with people who aren't close to me. It's been waiting on me for days. No one deserved to have such shitty parents. I hope I can be better for me and for my child. Entitled Mom thinks everyone wants her opinion, learns quickly that no one does. Hi, been watching YouTube compilations of these stories, so I decided to share my own. I have so many from my work history, some better than others, but this one is still up there with my favorites. On laptop, English is first language, grammar is not one of my strong suits. This story takes place about 10 years ago when I managed a store in my local mall that rhymes with Rensselaer's Rifts, and it takes place around Christmas as all the good ones do. The mall was close to the ritzier towns, so I was very used to entitled people, customers, cops. Story for another time. Cast of characters: me, exhausted retail manager; CW, exhausted retail worker; Karen, puts her nose where it doesn't belong; New Mexico, nice mom who is just doing some shopping with her kid, about 8. To set the scene, my store was small. There was just enough passable areas to be ADA compliant without having much else room to move, much less sneeze. There is a line and CW and I are switching off between ringing customers out and keeping an eye on people. The type of store it was, theft was high, so we needed to stay vigilant. New Mexico and her daughter are about halfway in the line, close to the back of the store, adult novelties, but far enough away that it wasn't awkward. Karen comes into the store and sees New Mexico and kid in line. I swear we heard steam come out of Karen's ears. "Karen, how dare you let your kid into this store? Where is the manager?" Me enters after working two 12-hour shifts in a row on not enough sleep or caffeine. "I am the manager. What can I help you with?" Karen looks me up and down and laughs. "You're what, like 18? Run along and get your actual manager." Me, I am 22, but have always looked younger. Sucked when I was trying to drink at 22, but is now great at 35. "Now what can I help you with?" Karen sighs and starts on her rant. "How dare you let kids come into this store? This store is for adults only. You should be ashamed of yourself." She goes on, but I am pretty sure I fell asleep standing up. Now, I should mention at this time New Mexico has not said anything. She basically just ignored Karen like she wasn't even there. Once Karen stops to take a breath, I politely let her know that we do have a sign at the door saying parental guidance when in the store, but because we are in a mall we are not allowed to cart or anything. She didn't appreciate that and then turns to New Mexico and makes it a point to tell her that she is a terrible mom for allowing her innocent child to be in such a disgusting store. Now is when New Mexico absolutely loses her s. She starts telling this woman that it was none of her business how she parented her child and she would much rather her child learned about life from her than from some other idiot child. She also says that Karen should mind her own damn business and if this store offended her so much then she should probably get the F out. This store was quiet. Everything stopped. My CW looked like she was afraid to move. Karen just turns on her heel and stomps out. New Mexico apologized to me and my CW about losing her cool and let us know that her daughter really liked out lanyard wall. I laughed at that and asked her if she wanted to organize it for me. There had to be like 300 lanyards in a 3 feet by 2 feet horizontal display. The daughter left. We wished each other a Merry Christmas and went on our ways New Mexico to finish shopping and me to get yelled at by another hurried last-minute shopper. TLDR, Karen gives her opinion and nice mom tells her where to go. My dad is forcing me to either quit my job or to half my hours yet refuses to support me financially despite the fact that I'm a minor. Is this normal? For reference, I'm 17 and I'm in school full-time, 5 days a week. I work 12/8 on the weekends and haven't had a day off other than for COVID leave since August. Of course my 7-day week schedule isn't ideal, but I really appreciate the income and have grown to like my job. Last summer, I really struggled to find myself a job. I was 16, and after dropping in and emailing 40 different employers and revising my CV about 1,000,000 times I lost all hope. My parents decided that I was old enough to support myself and cut me off financially and stopped giving me bus money or lifts. I live in the countryside, about 20 kilometers away from all my friends, so I spent the summer completely alone which was really difficult for me. All of my employed friends had gotten their jobs through their parents or friends of their parents, but my parents still made no effort to put in a personal word on my behalf to any employers they were on friendly terms with. Anyways, August rolled around and I finally got a job at a McDonald's about a half-hour drive from me after 4 months in isolation. My parents immediately turned their noses up at the mention of McDonald's, but I wasn't in any position to be picky, and I'm still very grateful for the job. They have always put massive pressure on me to do well in school, and so, to please them, I've been overexerting myself for months and have a long streak of A's and B's. Unfortunately, I miss a day or two of school on average a month because of my period. For years, I've spent once a month paralyzed with cramps and nausea which are 1,000,000 times worse than what any other girl I've talked to about this has ever experienced. I'm convinced I have endometriosis and have brought the subject up with my parents again and again over the years and have begged them for a hospital appointment. 4 years later, and I still haven't seen anybody about my period pains, and I still continue to miss school over it. Despite this, my parents are constantly on my back about the days that I've missed at school and yet neglect to get me any sort of help or treatment for what I'm going through. About 2 months ago, I missed a week of school because I was sure I had COVID, when in actuality I just had a bad dose of tonsillitis. My parents were furious when I tested negative for COVID and nagged and argued with me about it for about another month until I actually did test positive and ended up missing another full week of school. I have since caught up on all the work I missed, and I haven't broken my streak of A's and B's. Today and yesterday I stayed home from school because I've had another bout of tonsillitis, which went untreated last time and this time as well. Apparently, this was the breaking point for my dad, and he called me down from my room and told me if I didn't either quit my job or drop down to 1 day a week, he was going to go into my manager's office and withdraw his parental consent himself. He blamed my illness on work and told me that it was unacceptable that I was missing school, and told me that I needed to take a day off to dedicate wholly to study. I tried to reason with him and showed him my report cards and recent test results and told him my grades were perfect and that I couldn't be blamed for catching COVID or tonsillitis. He shut me down and told me that my grades didn't matter because the fact remained that I was still missing school. I'm unsure what to do or how to change my dad's mind. I know a 7-day week is extreme for someone my age, but I have no other option. In order to see my friends and do nice things in the city outside of school, I need funds. In order to have funds, I need a job. My parents want me to have both a school life and a social life, but won't give me a single cent out of their pocket to get me out of my countryside jail cell. Pocket money is out of the question. I've tried to negotiate my way into making some kind of deal with them by doing good in school and doing any chores my parents ask of me, but their argument is that I shouldn't be rewarded for doing the bare minimum of what is expected of me. Now that I have my own job, I'm financially independent and can no longer be guilt-tripped by them about money or by my laziness. I am currently saving for a month-long holiday during the summer, and I already have deposits laid down and plane tickets bought. Still, I need to earn a little extra money to pay the entire thing off. It's my reward to myself for the effort I've put in at school and for all the hours I've worked. I really want to do something nice for myself before I hunker down and inevitably quit my job for my final year at school next year. For me, my job allows me to actually do nice things for myself and to see my friends. Quitting it or slicing my income in half is not an option. Without it, my parents have made it very clear that they would not support me or give me any kind of pocket money to get a bus to see my friends or to treat myself. I've proved to my parents time and time again that I can excel in school, take care of my physical and mental health, see my friends and simultaneously work, but they're still not satisfied. I'm very frustrated by this whole situation, as I am an only child who is fortunate to have 2 working parents who are married happily. Still, it often bothers me that I have friends with 5 siblings and a single mother who have better financial support than me. Of course, I know people's financial situations are not nearly as straightforward as that, and I don't mean to sound spoiled, but it is frustrating for me, and I wish my life could be different. What can I do? Am I being an asshole by not obeying them? Is this fair? Any advice would be appreciated so much. Side note, just to clarify, yes, my parents buy me food and let me live under their roof and pay for my schooling, just in case that wasn't clear. But it doesn't go much farther than paying for my basic needs. Clothes, underwear, sanitary products, etc. are all bought by me. Please help. Advice needed. Mom lives off of everyone, especially her elderly mother. Okay, I'm going to try to break this down into sections. I hate to hold so much anger towards my mother, as she has always been my biggest supporter. She has gotten to a point where she is no longer the mother I know and has grown a victim mentality and feels entitled to the fact that other people support her financially and with housing. It started when she quit her job almost 2 decades ago. It made her government housing cheaper and has expected her own mother to pay her rent since then. She also has since expected her mother to pay for her cigarettes, any bills, etc. She makes no money, claims she cannot work, yet there is nothing wrong with her. She claims she did her time in the workforce and never plans to return. She was recently evicted from her government housing and refused to move into a smaller apartment. She started off in a 3-bedroom because she had 2 dependents. As my sibling and I grew older, we obviously moved out, but she refused to take the 1-bedroom offer. She moved in with her mother and her new husband. Not only does she never leave the house, while her mother is trying to enjoy her new marriage with her husband, she complains about everything they do. She calls me cussing when they watch TV. She gets annoyed that the husband calls people on speakerphone. She gets annoyed when anyone asks her if she plans on living with her own mom for the rest of her days. She always plays a victim and says how hard her life has been. and that she's allowed to be comfortable being alone never leaving the house, constantly reading and researching conspiracies, chain smoking cigarettes, while on her computer the entirety of every single day. When I send her jobs, where she could even work from home, staying in her comfortably alone space, she tells me she can't use a computer and couldn't do this job or that job because her brain isn't what it used to be. I remind her she has no issue research and writing about conspiracies all day long, and she gets upset. When she gets tired of being with my grandma and her new husband, she will tell me she's coming to stay a night or two with me and ends up staying over a week each time. Where she also does not help around the house unless specifically asked to do something. And when she does do something we asked, she talks about it for literally hours. Like it was the biggest favor in the world. After having a second child, I experienced psychosis on a daily basis, and when I would describe this difficult and scary thing to her, she would tell me it's from 5 grams. I wish I was making this up. If I mention any tough situations I'm dealing with or expressing excitement for something cool I'm doing, for example, grad school or a new job etc., she has to try to one-up me or one-worse me if you will. I got her a sweet deal with my oldest son's school that want to buy a program she wrote many years ago. She procrastinates doing anything related to this when she's at my grandma's and comes over to my house and tells me she needs help when in reality she just wants me to do it for her while she acts so clueless it's painful. She's used email since email came out. All of a sudden, when it comes to the school program, it turns into what's an email basically. Like she's helpless and clueless, and conveniently when I'm trying to help her, she mixes up her words or acts like she can barely even speak English. But it's only when she's supposed to be doing something productive. I want to help her, I do, but deep down I know, if something happens to my grandma she's going to expect me to take on that role and support her with a home and all of her financial needs. I don't know what I can say or do any more to get it through her head that she is taking advantage of her elderly mother and that no one in the world owes her anything and that it's sad watching her go down this path. I really need advice before I eliminate as much contact as possible. We usually talk every day, but lately I feel so drained and frustrated after conversations that it ruins my day. There are so many frustrating things that are said and done, but I will leave it at this for now. This is bothering me to the point of it being pretty much constantly on my mind. I feel bad for my grandma and have no idea what to do to help my mom or my grandma, either one. I know it isn't my responsibility, but I feel like if I don't help fix this situation, it will only get worse and eventually fall on me to support my own mother. Which I hate feeling negatively about also. If she needed support and help, I have always been there. But to see her make no action to help herself and not take any responsibility does not make me want to support her financially or with housing at all. If she had been trying to help herself and fell into hard times, I would absolutely help, but that just isn't case. She's chosen to live this life of being entitled to others and I can't keep watching it happen. Please help with any advice. That's all folks. If you like this content, please subscribe, hit the like button, and check out my next video. Take care.